A champion of the cooperative business model and visionary cooperative educator, Vern May spent 40 years serving cooperatives in the Midwest. His willingness to take bold steps and his ability to provide honest dialogue in a straightforward manner led cooperatives to obtain sustainability. Mr. May has been a thoughtful proponent of cooperatives and a strong supporter of the key principles that guide our network. Born and raised in Conway Springs, Vern was one of 5 children born to Jake and Vernice May. The May family operated a small farm of approximately 300 acres, raising small grains, livestock, and selling cream and eggs off the farm. After graduating from high school in 1969, Vern went on to attend Newman University in Wichita, graduating with a degree in accounting. Following his college years, Vern married the love of his life, Paulette, on April 21, 1979. They later added to their family, welcoming 2 daughters, Sarah and Jill. Vern and Paulette have also joined the distinct ranks of grandparents to grandsons Bodie and Witten and granddaughter Sailor. Having their family close by allows them to stay active with the grandkids and plenty of time for fun and spoiling by Papa and Grandma. Mr. May's cooperative career began in 1973 when he started working at the Wichita Bank for Cooperatives, a predecessor institution to CoBank. CoBank is one of the largest private providers of credit to the U.S. rural economy. The bank delivers loans, leases, and other financial services to agribusiness, rural infrastructure, and farm credit customers in all 50 states. In his initial role as credit analyst, Vern developed an acumen for numbers and recognized the importance of understanding the cooperative landscape. As a relationship manager, he worked directly with general managers and boards of directors and quickly became a trusted advisor to his grain and farm supply cooperatives. His approach was one of truth and integrity and was highly respected by his peers. In the late 90s, 6 Oklahoma cooperatives began discussing ways to provide greater value and returns to their member owners. Vern was instrumental in those conversations and in 2001 helped form Equity Marketing Alliance, LLC, which would later become Comark Equity Alliance. Vern's participation and mentorship was an integral part to that growth that not only helped local cooperatives, but the success of cooperatives in Kansas and the grain marketing industry in the central part of the United States. His dedication to cooperatives has extended far beyond the Kansas border. Serving cooperatives throughout Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, Vern understood the role the cooperative business model could play in improving the life in rural America. He was passionate about educating the co-op industry and served for many years on both the Oklahoma and Colorado co-op councils. He was essential in the development of educational training and was a tenured instructor for the Director Development Program offered by the Kansas Co-op Council. Vern enjoyed stimulating discussions among directors and encouraged them to always make the right decision, even if it wasn't the easy one. On a national scope, Vern was involved with the National Society of Accountants for Cooperatives and served as the president of the Midwest chapter from 2006 to 2008. His vision was to supply cooperatives with professional development materials for entry-level bookkeepers and accounting staff at local co-ops. On a personal level, Vern stays active in the local community by volunteering with the Lord's Diner in the Center of Hope. He also continues with a hobby that initially started as a second income source in college. Vern is a referee, officiating junior high school football games in Sedgwick County. Vern has been selected to officiate the finals of both 5A and 6A state playoffs and was able to officiate the last high school football game for K-State running back Darren Sproles. Although at a little slower at this point, 49 years later, he still shares the same passion and excitement for the game.
Vern, congratulations on your induction into the Kansas Co-op Hall of Fame. It is truly a great honor and one that is well deserved in this case. From a personal perspective, being new to co-op finance back in the 90s, Your input and guidance was invaluable to me as it related to how to work with finance, GMs, and boards of directors in all types of settings, and I thank you from a personal perspective for that. Anecdotally, I would tell you that there are other tidbits of information that you bestowed upon me that I still use today. Things like when you go to lunch with a group, forget your wallet, and that way you don't have to pick up the tab, have always been invaluable. So I thank you very much for that. On a serious note, though, your role as a relationship manager and trusted advisor, providing strategy, vision, and financing opportunities for these entities across that Midwestern landscape were key to their future successes. While the conversations were not always easy and, quite frankly, sometimes tough, you came at it from a platform of truth and integrity, and everyone that you worked with, while in the moment may disagree, but for the long term knew what the right answers were and that you were providing them the pathway to the future. So thank you from that group as well. On another platform, your work with the National Society of Cooperative Accountants from an education perspective as it relates to developing pathways for co-op leaders was integral in developing many of the leaders that dot the landscape of our co-op system today. Your engagement with boards at the DDP sessions to help them better understand their co-op businesses and how they can create co-ops of tomorrow was also a key attribute to the success of our co-ops in rural America today. Finally, on behalf of all of the employees that we worked with at CoBank, I want to tell you thanks from all of them, as I know they are so excited for you to receive this reward. Congrats, Vern, and all the best to you and your family.
Vern, congratulations on a very well-deserved honor. I believe that the Kansas Co-op Hall of Fame was designed with people like you who had such a distinguished career like yours. It has been my great honor to have been able to sponsor you as a candidate to the Kansas Co-op Hall of Fame, and then to get to watch you as you get inducted into it tonight. The relationship that Pride Ag Resources had with you and CoBank for almost 40 years has held one of the most professionally and highly respected because of your ability. You are very instrumental in educating the board of directors, not only throughout the Kansas, but also in Oklahoma and Colorado as well. Several of those you trained are in this room tonight. I know from history you had to deliver some very difficult and challenging scenarios. To some cooperatives, that wasn't always pleasant. I'm glad you and I never had to have those conversations. The worst I ever had was after I turned in my 5 minutes worth of work on a budget. You called and asked me, really? Could you give me a little bit more detail than that? After one of our board retreats that we had with you and my team at the Grand Lake, I was glad we were able to talk to you into staying around a little longer until you found your purpose in retirement. I hope retirement has been everything you had expected and more, and thanks for everything you have done for the cooperative system.